Farm4Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm4Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm4Profit Podcast.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to the Farm4Profit Podcast. This is Tanner.
This is Corey.
And this is Dave.
Excited to bring you this Farm for Fun episode. All three of us hanging out in the studio. Haven't been in the studio for a while.
Feels good to be back, but I should definitely not be here right now.
I was going to say, I can't believe you're not
Nope,
Oh,
shouldn't be here.
itching and
disguise.
scratching. And
You got to disguise the time of year when we're recording this. But opportunity only presents itself every so often. So we're excited to be in here and get a really good episode put together. Thank you for sending us guests like this. Farm4ProfitLLC@gmail.com. We always appreciate that interaction on social media as well. Make sure you hit subscribe on YouTube. What's our goal? How many YouTube subscribers does Corey want?
All of them?
Well, what did
All
of you?
Actually, it'd be really cool if we could ever hit 100,000. Because when we were down at Barn Talk and we were hanging out with them, they had their 100,000 up on the wall there. Actually, I had two of them. I think one for their This Will Do Farm and Barn Talk. And it seems like we've stalled out at like 65,000 somewhere in there.
we need the YouTube plaque that goes on the
Yep. I think you've got a lot of things in store that are going to help us out. We do appreciate you. You can text us too, 515-207-9640. We poked fun at Nebraska, or we've always poked fun at Nebraska, but then we kind of shamed Wisconsin because remember they weren't in the top 10 on that episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got a text here. Another Wisconsin dairy farmer and row crop farmer looking for more dairy content from you. It was interesting to hear from your guests. I listened to every episode you guys have released, and many of them keep up the good work, guys.
Yep.
So we do have somebody from Wisconsin, and
We realize we're lacking on the dairy, and that will be changing at some point.
but we're not talking dairy today. Corey, who are we talking to?
Oh, we are. You want me to just go ahead and introduce? Because
Let's do
this
it.
is a brand new topic.
I got a review the other day. You want my review?
Is it good or bad?
It was good for me.
Okay.
So I'm at Kowser's wedding, and this gal comes up and says, I listen to your podcast all the time. I said, fantastic. She's like, you make it great. And I said, how do I make it great? And she says,
How drunk was she?
she wasn't at all.
Oh,
and she says, because I love it that you just zinger and go a completely different direction. She's like, that's what makes it great. There's my review for the day. She loves the abstractness of ADD.
Yeah, we love you too, Dave.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, you ready?
I've been ready.
Okay.
Dave just had to zinger off into
We had to zing her off.
That was the
zinger.
That was the way for a day review. Today on the Farm for Fun show, we are back in studio, and it feels so good. We head way southeast, and we get with a brand new topic for the podcast. We've never talked about this before. This man came back to the farm in 2008. He's the fourth generation, serves as president of the North Carolina Egg Association, and on the board of the United Egg Producers. Please welcome President and CEO of Braswell Family Farms from North Kakalaki,
North Carolina.
Trey Braswell.
Yeah.
Good morning, guys.
Is it can I say North Kakalaki?
Oh, yeah. That'll work.
I don't know. I'm north of the Mason-Dixon line. Is that okay?
We'll accept you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you coming from today, Trey?
Man, right now I'm sitting on the porch at our house. So it's a sunny day, and I was just saying I'm praying for some rain. It's been very dry here, but it looks like we're going to get some rain over the next few days.
Gotcha. Yeah, you haven't had any of the hurricanes or anything like that to bring a bunch
No,
of rain.
it was wet like midsummer, but it turned off, and it is incredibly dry. But you know how it goes, up and down.
Harvest season is here, and so is your competitive advantage.
That's right. The Estes XPR3 concaves are a total game changer. Think one concave, all crops, no bands, no switching. From wheat to corn, soybeans, you're rolling non-stop. Backed by their patented technology with 250% more threshing surface, you get cleaner grain, fewer fines, and beast-level capacity, all without trading combines.
If you're interested, visit EstisPerformanceConcaves.com to upgrade your combine today. Estes XPR3, harvest smarter, faster, and better.
So this is a Farm for Fun show where we like to learn the people behind the brand, get your story in agriculture. You know, what was your upbringing? Were you always involved in farming?
Sure, yeah. No, I mean, our family, I've been around the family business my whole life. You know, I'm the fourth generation that's in the business, had the opportunity and the gift to lead the business. You know, when I was a kid, you know, go visit pullet houses where we raise the baby chicks and go to the feed mill and get babysat by, you know, wives of some of the leaders. I mean, it was like family business is great because, you know, when I was a kid, honestly, I thought they were some of my aunts and uncles, and that's what we called them. But that's one of the real gifts of a family business. I've just been around it my whole life, love agriculture. You know, there was a season that not that I never wanted to come back, but I wasn't ready to come back, you know. But just several things, a desire to come back, my dad's health. You know, I came back shortly after graduating college at NC State, and you know, been here ever since. I can't imagine doing something outside of agriculture. I love the opportunity to work with our people. I work with our customers, our partners. You know, I just really enjoy it.
Do you tell us about your family? Married, kids?
Yeah, I'm married. We've been married for 12 years now and got 3 kids. My oldest is a girl, Eleanor Grace, and then my middle is a girl, Gardner May, and then my son, Barnabas Oak, is 5 years old.
Those are cool names. I like that. What do you call Barnabas for short?
Typically Barn. Yeah, just Barn. But we call him Barnabas a lot, or his sister every now and then when she wants to frustrate him, we'll call him Barney.
Barney.
I was waiting for that. Yeah.
I think my daughters watched something with Barnabas character, Bluey or something like that. That's cool. That's really cool. Good names.
So the family business, it's still family business, correct? Who's all in it?
Well, now it's just me. My dad passed away in the fall, and so my dad and I were in it together. We owned the business together, and I've been running it for several years now. But he passed away in the fall, so as far as family members that are in the business, it's just me. I've got a sister, but she's never worked in the business, but she's not far from home here. But so right now it's all on me, and but it's couldn't do it without an excellent team of people that we've got at Braswell Family Farms.
Did you catch that? That's
excellent.
I had that wrote down as one of my jokes.
We knew Tanner.
And I don't think we've dove into what your business is. You barely briefly touched it. If the listeners caught it, go deeper into what your business is.
Absolutely. So we are in the business of producing eggs for human consumption, and we do produce animal feed for layers, broilers, broiler breeders, turkeys, and swine. But the biggest part of our business is producing and marketing mostly value-added specialty eggs like Eggland's Best and organic and cage-free, free-range, pasture-raised, all those things. Would be the biggest part of our business. Our feed mill is probably 70% supports our egg business, and about 30% of the sales are external.
You have any, I'm going to use the word traditional. Do you have any traditional egg sales, or are they all value added?
No, we do. We call it conventional or commodity. We do produce and sell a fair amount of commodity. We actually have a great partner in the Midwest that we buy a lot of that from. I mean, y'all know everybody's got their niche, and they've got scale to be very competitive on conventional egg pricing, and we feel like we do better with the niche things, the little bit harder to do, and smaller markets.
So are most of your eggs sold on the Eastern Coast, or are they sold across the U.S.?
No, I mean, every now and then they'll make it far and wide, but I would say, if you looked at a map and, right here in central and eastern North Carolina, you'd have a circle that's darker. So North Carolina, Virginia is the bulk of it, but then we mark it up we sell Eggland's Best from North Carolina to eastern Pennsylvania. That's our kind of our market territory. And we do produce eggs for Whole Foods that end up in the deep southeast. But yeah, you can find our eggs somewhere from Mississippi to the northeast, but mostly more focused around where we are.
There's a couple guys in the Midwest that are doing this right now. I just sold a farm to a guy. There's for a guy that's taking his money out of the farmland and making
pasture-raised chickens.
Yeah.
So when you do that, cage-free, are those still confinement animals?
They're confined inside the barn. The cage-free is. They're free to roam inside of the barn, but there's no confinement inside of the barn. And then it's when you go to free range or pasture or organic is when they have outside access.
How do you collect eggs when they could just drop an egg wherever they wanted to?
Yeah, the system is designed kind of to the chickens still possess kind of their inherent traits to want to go into a private, dark space. So we have nest boxes in the house. So like if these birds are in a free range or pasture setting, they're still going to come back in. Their feed and water's inside, and they have their nest boxes that they are kind of trained and inherently will go to. And I'm not saying you won't have flocks where you have problems where they might want to lay on the floor or something like that, but it all has to do with training these birds up from 1 day old and making sure your pullet systems, which is where you're rearing them, match the layer system. So they're used to whether they've got to jump or fly up into the system or, whatever it is. The training is a big part of that.
This is probably a dumb question. How many eggs does a bird lay a day? Just one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really kind of one egg every 26 hours.
One egg every 26
So it's less than one.
0.95.
Yeah.
There you go. You heard it here first.
And do they lay year round?
They do. In commercial production, we're able to manage their environmental factors, light and things. So they do. And I guess naturally, primitive chickens were jungle fowl, but seasons would have an impact on their production, just like any other wild animal. But yes, they do lay year round.
I was a big chicken producer.
You were a big chicken?
I was a big chicken producer. I had 100 layers. And my high school girlfriend.
I hear you.
I
hear you clucking, big chicken. Yeah.
And I did all the work. It was called, you want to know what the name was? We even had hats made to go down to the state fair, and you got those people that are like, we'll make you a hat.
Yeah.
Hi-Ho Farm.
Hi-Ho Farm.
Oh, man. Back when I was just making enough money to barely pay for the feed.
Well, Trey, what does it
That's
take?
That's how it is
money?
here sometimes, too.
Like how many eggs do you have to make a day to make a business out of?
Probably don't matter if the eggs sell for less than they cost.
Oh, well, yeah, no, we don't like that. But y'all know how the commodity business is. Sometimes some years you do great and some years you don't. But for us, I mean, I would say, I guess we would be categorized as small to medium in our industry. And there is a growing gap between our size and the largest players just because of consolidation in the industry. But we have like 2.2 million birds. So, we would say, and they're all different ages. Each barn or flock has different ages. So you probably average about 80% of that number in eggs a day. How many birds would it take to make a living? I'm not sure, but to support our infrastructure and our team, that's our size, and we haven't tried to shoot for a certain size. We've just tried to serve our customers well and treat our employees well and be prepared when the Lord opens doors to do new things. So.
So we talked about dairy in our intro. Well, there's a lot of technology in dairy to understand when your production starts to go down, or when it's time to rebreed and fill that cycle. How do you know when it's time to cull a chicken? Because you can't. Yeah. Can you track?
Well, no. I mean, typically we are tracking production out of a house daily and feed consumption, all of those things. So we're able to tell if there's an issue. I mean, we know based on whichever breed we're using or whichever strain we're using what their production should be from the manual. The genetics companies like Highline, would sell us a bird, and that bird has a management guide, and that management guide would say at this stage in life you should be receiving this amount of production, and there's a scale over time, and then at some point in time in that bird's life it's not producing enough eggs to pay for the feed. So and that in the commercial sense is when we would sell, or that bird would be used for lesser quality protein.
Chicken nuggets.
Lesser quality protein.
Lesser
You hear that?
protein.
Lesser quality protein.
I want to go back to more of the history of the business, when it got started, who started it, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so first generation was Joe and Eugene Braswell, and so that was great granddad and great uncle, and they were so back then the family, their parents were farming like a small piece of land. It was kind of a traditional story around here, and then 8-9 kids, and that small piece of land wasn't going to support the families, 8 or 9 families. So they started to venture off. That generation of children started to venture off to find opportunities. And so it was in the early 1940s. Those two, Joe and Eugene, really walked down the street, I guess, about a mile and a half to a grist mill. It was called Body's Mill because it was on Body's Mill Pond, which used to be part of a big land grant plantation. But they went to work for Mr. Strickland there and just grinding corn, making cornmeal. They had local routes, and there was a year or two after that Mr. Strickland was ready to get out, and so he, my understanding is, he worked out a deal to kind of self-owner finance it for them, and they took it over and just try to continue to make it more efficient. They installed a generator for those seasons when we were in drought and there wasn't enough water to power the grist mill, and just build a small business of Body's Mill cornmeal. And they had a local route. They had families would come bring corn and pay them to mill it, or they come bring their corn to sell it. And so that was kind of how it all began. And then it was the time for the next generation came back in the 50s, and kind of same story. That small mill wasn't able to support at that point 4 families, and so they had to look for what was next. And there was an old mill in town that I guess I don't know if it was up for sale or what, but they were able to purchase that, which is the base of our current feed mill. And that's when they started making animal feed. And it was in that time in the 50s and 60s that, commercial intensive livestock agriculture, they were figuring out how to put larger groups of animals inside and control environments and do that. So they were making a lot of bagged feed for, people at home for their work animals. And then it started to turn into more bulk feed. So that was generation 1 and 2.
Huh. It sounds like it's not a question of was it the chicken or the egg, it was the feed that came first.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
For us, it was.
Foul joke.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, what was it that came first, the chicken or the egg?
You just said it was the feed.
I know, in the business, but in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
Well, I'm a chicken came first guy because I believe that the Lord created the animals. So that answers the question for me.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
That was first and second generation. So then your dad would be third.
Dad would be the third, but so kind of in that second generation, and his dad was coming along. that's when, the industry was pretty disintegrated at that point. You'd have a feed mill and you'd have a pullet company producing baby chicks, started baby chicks, and you have a company that was producing eggs, and then a company that might have a contract with a grocery store, and that was separate. And so then it started to integrate, and so we were producing feed, but then the next step was we started raising baby chicks, and so Braswell became known for high quality started laying hens, and then continued to evolve delicately because our customers were egg producers. We were selling them pullets, we were selling them feed, and then over time they got into producing some eggs. And Braswell Milling would have contracts. So where Braswell Milling would give a contract to a farmer, and like my dad built his own contract farm for Braswell Milling and others, and then we, Braswell Milling, would buy the eggs and sell them to, a company that would, we say process, but really grade them and package them and distribute them. So we just continue to evolve into the egg production through partnerships, and it was all contract and offline, and we weren't doing any of the grading and distribution ourselves. And then it was in the late 80s was kind of the game changer for us when Eggland's Best was just an idea that came. Two gentlemen in Japan developed this patented feed formula that was lower in saturated fat, lower in cholesterol, higher in multiple different vitamins, and brought it over to we had the big International Poultry and Feed Expo in Atlanta in January. And so I think it was 88 or 89. I was 4. But, so they tried to get farmers on board to buy franchises. And, the bulk of people were like, an egg's an egg. There's no way you'll be able to make it anything but just a conventional commodity egg. And eggs also had a pretty bad rap then for supposedly causing high cholesterol and things like that. So it had a rocky start, but my dad would tell you the best gift his dad gave him before he died was, business-wise, was taking a chance on Eggland's Best. And my granddad died in 92. So I was 7, I believe. But that's what changed it for us. Dad just said, we're gonna really focus and stay committed to this brand, Eggland's Best. At that point, we had the North Carolina franchise, and we just continued to focus on it. And Dad was able to, through purchasing, a farm, Glenwood Farms in Virginia, in 1997. They were a customer of ours, but we purchased them, and that came with a egg laying complex and an additional Eggland's Best franchise. And then eventually they were able to buy the franchise for Pennsylvania from Wenger Feeds. And so, Dad just really grew that portion of our business, which was really the largest portion of our business throughout his time, and made investments in kind of modern inline egg production in 1999 when we built our current complex and our plant. So he, a lot happened under Dad's leadership, and he really set us on the course for being a leader in what we would call value added or specialty egg and feed production.
Very nice. You brought up the quality of an egg, and I wrote down what makes a good egg, because you said at one point you thought you couldn't change it, and then you said you did change it, but then you said there was a bunch of misnomers around cholesterol and all that. Like, so what is a good egg?
Yeah, well, so the whole yeah, you're a good egg. That's right. Back then in the late 80s, there was either bad data, bad reports or whatever that had pretty much linked dietary cholesterol, like in eggs, with high cholesterol. And so at that point, doctors were like, you don't need to eat eggs, or if your cholesterol is high, don't eat any, or you only need to eat one or whatever, which
Yeah,
all
good
that
egg
was,
whites.
that's right. Yeah. And now we know all of that was false.
The whole food pyramid's a scheme.
That's correct.
with-
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But so thankfully, we worked hard over the years to clear that up and to get the science right. But Eggland's Best in itself, the nutritional quality of the egg is really determined on what that bird is eating. So Eggland's Best, the birds that we have that we are producing Eggland's Best eggs with are eating a different feed, which does in fact lower saturated fat. It's higher in certain vitamins, part of a lower cholesterol diet. And so that's what determines the internal quality. But if you back it up to our feed mill, we have pretty stringent specs on receiving, whether it's corn, what the moisture specs and toxin specs are and things and ingredients. And, it wasn't until several years ago that I really saw the real outcome of that. I knew we always had high standards, but we've had external customers that is a large broiler integrator that they have a complex just south of us that doesn't have a mill, and it's just a breeder complex. And we fed their breeders, and they were doing great. And then they have a company mill a few hours from there, and they're like, well, our cost is cheaper, and we have capacity at our mill, and so they're like, this complex has to buy from our mill or has to get feed from our mill. Well, ever since they changed, their local complex leaders have been trying to convince corporate to switch back to our feed. They're feeding the exact same formula, recipe, but the birds perform differently on our feed. And so, we just think it comes back to quality from the ingredients that we, choose to receive to, our quality standards on our mixing profiles and things like that. So quality is in the whole chain of production.
Just imagine how the quality of those birds would be if they're eating Iowa corn.
I was trying to figure out, okay, so if there is a different quality in egg, how does the consumer know that when they go to buy it? I'm thinking, I've been in the grocery store and there's, 5 or 6 different brands of eggs. Of course, we look at price, but I normally look at the carton, and whoever has the most robust carton, that's what I buy, because I'm going to reuse that carton for golf balls or something else.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do people pick eggs? How do you guys pick eggs?
He picks rocks out of his driveway and saves them in a carton.
My neighbor's got yard birds, so I just go steal them.
Yard birds.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know if the organic labeling's even worth it, right? I feel like if I crack an egg that is Eggland's Best, or I buy the organic ones or the brown ones versus the white, I feel like when I crack them, I don't see a difference.
Yes, so I think that people, one, they're especially nowadays, are really want to hear the story of where and how they're produced. But I'll take Eggland's Best first specifically, is that Eggland's Best is a nationwide brand, and there's about 10 franchisees now, and we send samples into the corporate lab weekly, because what people know is that, one, it is lower in saturated fat. It is higher in vitamins A, E, and D, and omega-3. So it's the only nutritionally enhanced egg on the market. And people know that if they're buying it in California, or they're buying it in North Carolina or Florida or Iowa, they're getting, a consistent product, and they know that it's, they believe it's better for their health. And, we would look at the nutritional label and agree. But then, some people make a decision based on that. That's the Eggland's Best consumer, but some people make decisions on cost, and some people make decisions on perceived animal welfare benefits. And that's where your cage-free, free range, pasture, that would be if somebody puts a lot of value on how they believe the birds are getting treated. And then organic is just, some people believe, well, if the corn's being sprayed by Roundup, then I'm probably getting Roundup in my egg, and I'm putting that egg in my body, and I'm probably getting chemicals in my body. And so people make decisions for so many different reasons. But what people see in the carton when they open it up that don't know about all those things, they see if the eggs are cracked, if the shells are solid, what the inside's like, and that's what they're. You have that, and then you have to try to figure out how to educate that consumer other than just that touch point in the grocery store.
You know what my favorite eggs are? The ones that I don't cook. So I go to Denny's or I go to somewhere else. I don't really care what kind of eggs they use as long as it comes out on the plate and I don't have to wash it.
You know, perception is quite interesting. You chose to use that word on the perceived animal welfare side of things. I would assume, right, the labeling is accurate. Probably has to be accurate. You can't.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
Meet Maya corn heads, built better for over 40 years to power through down corn, high yields, and tough fields without flinching.
These durable, low-maintenance heads mean less downtime, less grain loss, and more profit per acre. They have the option for down corn attachments or direct-driven chopping. They ensure that your combine will move smoothly, fast, and full at all times.
Don't just harvest your fields, conquer them. Visit mayacornheads.com to find the dealer near you.
So I say perceived because the labels are accurate, but it's perceived because one person might say, well, that bird in that cage is being mistreated, when another person might know, well, it's not being mistreated just because it's in a cage. So somebody might say, I perceive this bird that goes outside to be better for me. It's better. They think it's better for the bird, so it's better for me. So that's their perception.
Yeah.
That's why I use the word perceive.
As the president of your family farm, like, how many people care about that? Like, we hear it a lot that people care about where their food came from. I'm not convinced that they do. Like me, I don't necessarily care. If I'm at Denny's, I don't.
I feel like if you think of the mom that is typically buying the groceries, there's some feel good things.
You think it's 50% across the nation? I bet it's less than that. I bet 20% of the people care.
I bet there's less caring now that everyone is ordering their groceries online.
Yeah,
and not going to the store.
I think that I think we believe there's clearly a large portion of the population that cares based on their budget. I think that there is a portion that cares where their food comes from, and it seems to be growing because there's more influence applied in the marketplace by being able to tell a story or tell your story. But what we know is our percentages of sales of different types of eggs, and we also know in the marketplace, still roughly 65 to 70% of egg sales are commodity. So we know that there is over half the population really either needs or wants to buy the cheapest egg out there, because they believe that, an egg's an egg. And I'm not saying they're wrong that they shouldn't buy those. I mean, I'll eat a commodity egg. But some people say, well, there's value to me for that egg to be a little more nutritious, or there's value to me for that egg to come off a farm in my community, or there's value to me to know that those birds got to go outside.
This is where you don't need the analytics, because it's free market, and this is why I don't have a problem with organic or anything like that. Like, someone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not going to grow the egg the way they want it unless they're going to pay for it.
Correct.
Right? So that's where I'm fine with it. Where I have troubles is like on the chicken, on the meat side of things. We'll get a package of chicken, and then there's like fear mongering type stuff, like hormone free. Like, there's no hormones, right? Antibiotic free. Well, technically, even the ones that got antibiotics should have went through withdrawal period. No antibiotics and all that kind of stuff. Like, so that's my issue.
So if you hard boil an egg, does it lose some of the nutritional value? Like when you boil stuff, sometimes you boil the good out of it. Like, is that anything true with eggs?
I've never heard of that for eggs. I understand what you're saying for like vegetables and things. But I don't think that's the same for a protein product, but I could be wrong.
Is there a better egg to hard boil?
Typically, people would say older eggs.
Older eggs, really?
Yeah, but I think if you steam them, we found that if you steam them, you can use a fresh egg, but, kind of the old wives' tale is older eggs peel better.
Is there a way to peel that's the best? I mean, you've been in the egg business. Like, what is the best way to peel a hard-boiled egg?
A hard-boiled egg. Well, what we do is we just poke a little hole in the end and steam it. And then once you steam it for the right amount of time, you just put it in ice water for several minutes. And then once it cools down.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, then I just kind of tap it and crack the shell and get it going and peel it right off.
What is your favorite way to cook an egg?
Man, I love I call it Christmas casserole, but like breakfast casserole. It's got sausage, eggs, cheese, bread. We put vegetables in it. I love omelets. But like the daily easy go-to is just scrambled. But I love it always.
And I like that sunny side up and get that right.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
Kind of toast if you do.
My granddad and I we used to put it in grits. Like, I don't know if y'all eat a lot of grits up there, but we would make
once in a while when we get to like a Waffle House or something.
Yeah.
Travels, we're like, oh, let's try grits again.
Let's do grits again.
And then we're always like, why did we get this?
Do your kids ever get tired of eating eggs?
Oh yeah. Oh man, I got one of my middle child. I love her, but she's always just wants to be a little hard on purpose, and it's like, I hate eggs. You always cook eggs.
Yep.
Well,
it's a hard thing to hear,
Get all the rejects for free.
Yeah. One of our benefits is we give every employee 5 dozen eggs on pay week, every other week. So.
Oh, nice.
Wow. That goes a long ways.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I think we should start marketing the podcast as a cage-free podcast.
There you go.
We're good.
I've let you all out of the cage.
Yeah, door's not locked.
You're free to
Door's not
roam.
locked.
You've got access to sunlight.
You can drink whatever you want. You can roam around.
Yeah. The new cage-free podcast.
So here in Iowa, pigs outnumber us by 7-1, something like that.
Yeah.
So we're no stranger to the vertical integration process. I think chickens probably showed us the way to that. Was chickens vertically integrated when your family got into it in the early 40s, or when did that happen?
No, it really integrated kind of at the speed which we did over that, those generations. It was, the mid 50s, 60s, whenever that, they kind of figured out how to get intensive livestock, like getting animals in a building, being able to manage health and environment and all that. And that integration really just happened over that time, into the mid 90s, when inline farms really came about. So it really just it was a progression over time. Fun fact, y'all probably know this, but I think Iowa is the largest egg producing state now, because when the Southeast used to be the largest egg producers just due to climate, but then we figured out how to make barns completely closed up and then control the environment with fans and all that. Yep. Production moved to the feed. So Iowa went from like maybe 8 million hens to I think like 65 million hens or something. So tons of hens in Iowa.
Confirms your theory of where they would do better with Iowa corn.
Iowa corn, yeah.
Yeah.
It says yes, while Ohio temporarily surpassed Iowa for the total number of egg-laying hens in the early part of 2025, Iowa still remains the largest egg-producing state in the U.S. due to its significant population of over 45 million layers and large-scale processing capabilities and a high-quality corn.
No. So
I
Trey,
think, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, I think the only reason Ohio surpassed it was because the bird flu has been so bad in Iowa. In those years, it just took out a lot. There's a lot of liquid egg production there in Iowa. So just a ton of very large farms.
Oh, holy crap. I do keep reading. Iowa's top rank is bolstered by its abundant supply of corn, soybeans, which are used to feed chickens, and its role in the leader of further processing eggs, like you said. It does say that.
Before we jump off the vertical integration thing that we were talking about, what would you tell people that are hating on that process, hating on Big Egg. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like
You're so bad.
I
I mean,
I'm going to say from my point of view, like, sure, it'd be great if all the farms could still have chickens and all that. And the same thing with pigs. I am in a vertically integrated. I'm a pork producer for someone else, but it was my ticket back to the farm. It's still a family farm that's producing them, right?
that's right. And we still are a blend between company-owned housing and contract. So we have, I mean, now close to half our birds are on contract, organic, cage-free, free-range, pasture-raised, because we love that. We want other people to be able to come back to the farm and have an opportunity. They might be row crop farmers and also have pullet houses or laying barns. As far as, it's been kind of a necessity, in the business to integrate and to move forward at this scale. We look at it as we have good control of quality from beginning to end, and that's what we talk about with consumers and customers is, we buy that chick at 1 day old and we buy grain and other ingredients for feed, and then we can control it and verify it and manage quality till that egg gets to the grocery store or to the distribution center. We feel like there's a value to consumers for that.
See, I think the other way. I think there is a value to consumers because I have a ton of granola crunchy neighbors that all decided, hey, we're going to get our own chickens and we're going to make our own. And every one of them, for some reason, must have got way too many because every week somebody's like, oh, here's an extra couple dozen of eggs. Do you want
They lay like 0.95 eggs a day.
Here's some more. Do you want these? Here's some more. Do you want these? And they're just giving them away all the time. I'm like, there's nothing fiscally good about this. But like our family, we still trust the ones at the grocery store more than the ones that are coming from the neighbor because we don't even know what the neighbor fed them. We don't know, I don't know.
If they sat outside for days and days until they found it,
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you were mentioning it, Corey, about free market. I got no problem with people if they want to have a chicken. Like if we weren't in the business, we might have some. But like to try to force it on the whole population that, well, you shouldn't be allowed to put birds in cages or you shouldn't be allowed to, you're just a big factory farm. It's not fair because there's millions and millions of people that they can't put a chicken on their balcony in their high-rise apartment, and I would say
humans in cages, but we can't put
that's right.
In cages.
That's right. So,
So what's your craziest egg story? Like when you were a kid, did you have like egg wars and throw them at your siblings and like what's the crazy like behind the scenes egg story?
We didn't have egg wars. We did something fun when I was a senior in high school. I went to a small private school, but it was kind of this thing where I don't know if it was the first day of school, last day of school. I can't remember, but kind of did pranks. And so I was like, we got a lot of chickens. Why don't we? And our school was shaped in a way that there was like a courtyard, and all the teachers and admin would come in the one building, and then they would walk through the courtyard to go to their classroom. So we got it's at least 300 hens, and then we put some like construction fence in the places where they go between the buildings so they couldn't get out. So we put like 300 hens in the courtyard around the flagpole. And then the people that were willing to participate got up on the roof. And then we just watched and enjoyed as the teachers would come out and they'd be like reading something and then they look up and they'd be like, oh my God, there's a bunch of chickens here. And so we had a blast. That was a lot of fun. But honestly, we never did take a bunch of eggs and throw them at people or houses or anything like that. But
have you seen that challenge on TikTok or the game that's played on TikTok to where like you stand in a circle, you spin a bottle or something that identifies who the tagger is and who the other people are?
I've seen that.
Then they take off running and you try to hit him with an egg.
Yep.
Huh.
I feel like you need to promote that, Trey.
That sounds like something we should do on social media.
Yeah, that would be a great way to get rid of egg inventory.
Yeah, there you go.
Start a trend.
How is the market right
A
now?
new use for eggs. I mean, the egg market. Well, it's at the lowest it's been in a while, but I think the egg market's been crazy for the last since prior to COVID. And between COVID and the avian flu, it's just made it so volatile. And things have been fairly quiet, but it seems like we know the avian flu is not going away, and it seems to be popping back up in Wisconsin and Minnesota and the Dakotas. So it just all depends on what happens there. I think in the Americas, we're at a good place with hen inventory for the population to have a pretty balanced supply. But we just don't know. I mean, we're getting into that season that we're all fearful of. The wild birds start migrating, and so we just don't know what's going to happen.
I've gotten a lot of exposure through producing the Turkey Talk podcast up here in Iowa, and they keep talking about avian metapneumovirus and the predictions as to how bad it's going to impact the industry for all poultry.
Right.
But I've been learning about how vaccines are administered. Do you know how birds get vaccinated? Some are drank.
They spray them.
I missed it.
I would think they spray them.
Yeah, they missed it on their beaks or in their.
Well, yeah,
nostrils.
there's multiple. I mean, an eye drop. There's injection. There's misting. There's water. Multiple types. Depends on the vaccine or what you're vaccinating for.
But misting was just I couldn't.
We didn't have the flu vaccine. You can mist up your nose.
You're right. Yeah. I just never thought of that as an option, but I was always thinking about the sheer number of birds. As a kid, I hated vaccinating in a hog barn because you need thousands of pigs to do this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to catch and market a chicken?
Oh yeah. They do
Is
it.
there a national average price of eggs that you watch, or?
So a lot of accounts are quoted on the Urnerberry market, which is, I mean, y'all may have heard of Urnerberry, but they do a lot of protein.
The Cadbury market?
The Cadbury. Just
Yeah.
depends on how sweet they are.
Yeah.
Urnerberry
Say that again. The Udderberry market?
is URNER, I think, and it's a private market. Like this company at some point in time that created or established because there wasn't, like a public market like the Chicago Board of Trade, and so they quote a lot of proteins, a lot of protein markets, fish, beef, different things. But that market's used often in customers to price into price accounts, but that's what we watch most of the time. But then there's different companies that are trading houses, and we look at offers to buy or offers to sell, loads and where, and we're watching that what we call the commodity price would be that Urnerberry price.
Is there a time of year that is typically better than the other times of the year?
Sure, yeah. I mean, summer's typically the slowest. Kids are out of school, out of routine. They sleep late. While they're in school is the best. The holidays are the greatest when we get into October, November, December. Then it used to kind of fall off hard and then pick up at Easter. But Easter, sadly, people are preferring candy and plastic these days to roll around or hide. But now, I mean, I would say, like October through, February, March are our peak seasons. But certainly Thanksgiving and Christmas. Families are together. There's a lot of baking, a lot of cooking, a lot of eating.
I don't know if you guys remember in March at Commodity Classic in Denver, we couldn't find a dozen.
That's right.
We couldn't even get it. Like Dave had to order it on like a McMuffin to get an egg.
That's right. Yeah.
And if you could find one, it was like $8 or $9, $10
Yeah.
a dozen.
Right. I do remember that now that you mentioned that. Now, why has the egg been associated with breakfast? Why can't we eat eggs all day?
That's a good question. I mean, I would assume, we can eat eggs all day, and I do love to eat eggs all day, and we do breakfast for dinner. We encourage people to put eggs on pizza, burgers, salads, whatever.
Why
As
is
far
it
as-
breakfast for dinner? Why don't you just have dinner with eggs?
That's a great idea. American Egg Board did this great campaign a few years back, and it was like the dinner egg campaign. Like it was kind of a spoof, but saying, "Hey, you need to go to the store and buy your dinner eggs." Like it's not just for breakfast. That was the whole thing. So that was kind of funny, but we try to encourage. But that's right.
What's the egg where it comes in like a cup and you gotta tap it with your spoon and take the
That's
top off?
some kind of French thing there. Is that a?
Poached?
I know what
No.
you're talking about. Poached egg.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I don't know if I've ever had a poached egg. Have you
What
ever
makes-
had a
Kind
poached
of,
egg?
it's
What
kind of
makes
like the
eggs
white
good?
is boiled, and then the inside's runny.
I think it's in English. Something. Bar up here. There's an Irish. I don't know.
Egg in a cup. Name.
Where in Iowa are y'all?
Right dead center.
Right dead center.
Egg in a cup is several regional names, including the Gudgy egg, the Hug in a mug, Dippy eggs, a Chucky egg, or a choppy boiled egg, referred to as soft boiled or
very
mashed egg
interesting.
in a cup or mug, often served with butter, salt, pepper, and a toast to soldiers.
Isn't there a drink with eggs in it? Like a
You're talking about the whiskey sour that
whiskey
we were
sour.
talking
Yeah,
about.
we talked about
Yeah,
that the other day.
yeah. When it's made real like that, that's the best.
I've never had one. I'm going to try one on Cocktails with Corey whenever we get that going. So
We should do.
Is that
we
at
should do
lunchtime
cooking
or
with-
what?
you know what? It's gonna have to come out today at some point. Tanner, go get some eggs.
This is gonna.
This, I think we could also do cooking with Corey, and he could make a whole bunch of egg dishes.
I love cooking with eggs.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the easiest things to make, right? You can be as fancy or as unfancy as you want.
And we could take it one step further and be creeping with Corey. And you just be
No.
like,
I started making eggs in the microwave more than I do in a
I
frying
could-
pan.
I could totally see you being an egg in the
No.
microwave.
Like, you can, like
No.
Based on the old
You want
Denny's
scrambled
comment.
scrambled eggs or
I bet Casey's
fluffier.
General Store here in Iowa, which is expanded, they have to be
Greatest
probably
pizza chain ever, right?
right. Well, probably for you, they probably sell the most eggs on pizza in the world. I would imagine
Oh
with their
Yeah.
breakfast pizza.
Justine just put that on Instagram that she says, and what's up with the pizza in Iowa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't get better than a bacon Casey's breakfast.
As
You gotta
long
have
as
it
it's
done right.
cooked. Yep.
yeah, that's good.
You said bacon because you raised. Yeah, I get it.
I like the sausage, which would be
Also pork.
also pork.
Right.
Well, the best is when you order the pizza yourself and you get
Yes.
everything on it with
Yep.
the
Mm.
bacon.
You throw some. Yep.
But if you just go take one slice, it's either bacon or sausage.
Yep.
Or bacon. Don't just get it. How long does it take to get an egg from one of your farms to the grocery store?
There have been times, I mean, especially around the holidays, that we will deliver an egg to a store or a distribution center warm. Not hot, but like it hasn't had time to cool down in the cooler.
And how long is an egg good for? Like once a consumer buys it, from the butt to the mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
Go
yeah,
vegan.
we put a Best By date on the carton, and they're good for much longer than that. Like what happens with an egg is the older it gets, the larger. Like if you candled an egg, put a light up and looked inside of it, there's an air cell, and the older the egg gets, the larger the air cell gets. And if you crack it, a real fresh egg stands up kind of high. The yolk will stand up high, and it won't run over the plate. And the older it gets, the runnier the white will get. But until that egg stinks when you crack it, you're good.
You still got to crack it. By then, it might already be in the pan that you didn't want it in.
Yeah, but you'll know then.
Now, did you raise any green ones?
No, we haven't. There just has not been enough of a market for us to do any of these heirloom like blues and different things.
I was
If we
talking
had-
about.
Eggs and ham.
Uh-huh.
You were talking
Oh,
Well,
about.
I had green eggs.
You're talking about egg farmer. I get caught up in all the stuff we normally hear.
And the Americana doesn't that?
I think they have a colored.
Yep. You know how you tell the color of the egg by looking at the chicken, Tanner?
I was just gonna
Oh
say,
man,
the carton.
fun fact right here.
You know, Dave?
I have no idea.
You look at their ears.
That's right.
Right? That's the
Mhm.
color of their ear.
Chickens don't have ears.
Yeah, the color of their
Earlobe
ear or whatever.
If it's a red earlobe, it's most of the time it's a brown egg, and a white earlobe is a white egg.
So what is the difference between a brown and a white egg?
The color of the shell.
Is that the only thing?
Yes.
So it's got
Yes,
nothing to
sir.
do with what you feed them. It's not like me
No.
and the things that come out of my rear end change colors because it's what I ate.
That's right. That's correct. Just like if your wife was pregnant, it doesn't matter what she eats. It's probably going to come out, a certain color, and it has nothing to do with the food,
What's crazy is when they don't get enough.
That was a much better.
When they don't get the nutrients or calcium, the egg can come out with no shell.
What?
Yeah. I forget what we
That
call
would be so
those.
much more efficient. Change from eggs to birds in the egg.
Just they have to. We don't have any roosters, so hens lay eggs. It's just regardless natural, just like a normal female cycle. But the roosters, like a company that produces chickens for meat, they have breeder houses where they'll have hens and roosters, and so the roosters are there to do our job and fertilize the eggs, and then they take those fertilized eggs to the hatcher, the incubator. They incubate
Can
them
you
for like,
fertilize an egg after it's laid?
I don't think so.
Kiowa, we need that. When does the egg get? Oh, Dave, that's how that works. Oh, that's good stuff.
This has been fun, Trey. I'm glad.
Absolutely.
Glad we got to chat with you. Thanks for giving us the 101, the 101, 411, the lowdown
The down low.
Doesn't.
on. No, that doesn't work either, Dave.
That doesn't
Sure,
mean-
13 eggs. What if you marketed them as 7 eggs and it's a better egg? Do you think you'd get the same price as a dozen eggs and sell less?
No.
I think you would.
7
Maybe
eggs.
half dozen.
It's like
He's
it's like the iPhone 17. Is it
I
really that
wouldn't-
much better?
I wouldn't worry.
I want one.
Nah.
No, I wouldn't worry about that question. Math wasn't mathing on that.
It was math though. Because you
It has
think
to
about
be
it.
an even number.
No, that's the cool part. It's an odd number.
So
what
what
would
is
the
it?
carton look
Packaging
like?
doesn't work.
Carton
It won't
get a-
stack right.
have a point on it. What? How are you
No,
gonna
you
put
have
that-
a secret egg in there.
Secret egg compartment.
You don't even know. There's something extra in the box.
little
And until you
phantom.
buy it, you don't even know what it is.
A little phantom egg.
Yeah. Like a prize?
Yeah.
My kids would
I
buy
shoulda-
that every time.
I should
You
have hung
should
up,
do that
so
at the farmer's
Trey,
market.
You
Okay.
totally could.
Should have ended it 5 minutes ago.
You get the plastic egg and there's something special in it.
He's really taking this review.
That
Alright,
escalated
loves
quickly.
if we have listeners that want to reach out to you or want to learn more about what you guys are doing, maybe they're just curious about getting into production themselves, how could they connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, they can go to our website, braswellfamilyfarms.com, and from there they can find a way to contact us. They can see, our Facebook, Instagram, and all the other things. But that's a great place to go, braswellfamilyfarms.com.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad that we were able to get connected. Listeners, we always appreciate you. If there's more topics like this you want to hear, make sure you tell us. Corey, what do you say?
Crack a cold one. You deserve it.
Farm4Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm4Profit